Hey, everybody. Glad to see you for this particular service this Sunday. This Sunday is, in my opinion, the most important day in the entire year. It's Father's Day, and I should be celebrated as far as I'm concerned. Actually, I think all of us should be celebrated, all the men, because we're important in society. I will be talking to you a little bit about be a man, and this comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 6, 16, verses 13 and 14. By the way, to all you men out there who are fathers like myself, happy Father's Day. I'm glad you stuck with your families. It's important. Fathers have a unique role in a child's life. One of the things that fathers do that surprised me when I was looking into this was that they tend to play rougher with their children. In our house, we played bucking bronco, and I would buck my children off my back, and then I would sometimes toss them into the air, and those kinds of rough kind of play help children develop a sense of adventure, a sense of the importance of strength, but also the limits to how we use our strength and the boundaries that we put on ourselves and how we deal with strength and power and discomfort in our lives. And those things are important lessons to be learned. And very often fathers are in the kind of the forefront of that, not indicating that mothers aren't also involved in that, but there's a sense in which fathers are kind of in the forefront of that type of an experience for children, and it's important for them. It helps them develop skills such as risk-taking, understanding the boundaries of life, how to use and how to control their strength, how to help control their emotions to a great extent. It also helps them to manage risk in their lives. And those things are important if a person is to have a well-rounded development. Paul says these words in 1 Corinthians chapter 16, beginning in verse 13. Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. Let all you do be done in love. That one word, act like men, is an interesting word. It is translated various ways in different translations. It is a Greek word that is used only once in the Bible. It was used some in ancient Greek literature, but it's only used one time in the entire Bible. It is a word that is related to the name Andrew. It means be a man or act like a man or live up to that. And most ways in which it was used in the ancient Greek culture and world was to reflect the idea of bravery or courage. But it's a word which is out of place in Paul's writings. And even out of place in the Greek culture. It was not used widely. And so for Paul to use it here seems to indicate to me that he is trying to get across a point. He is using it for the stand up and pay attention impact of a word. Very often when we use words that aren't used often in culture, we are telling people stand up and pay attention. This is important. And that's what Paul seems to be saying in this particular verse by the use of this word. The concept of be a man, be manly. Our culture has denigrated manliness. I remember back when I was a kid and growing up, manliness was something to be aspired to by young men. It was something to be sought after. But in the 1980s, our culture took a dramatic change away from that. And not for the best, I don't believe. I think it's been unhealthy for our culture. But the idea is that manliness was a sense of courage, strength, fortitude, the ability to tackle situations in life. and tackle the challenge of situations. Paul uses some very strong words in this particular verse, particularly verse 16. He uses a word watchful. That particular word is a word which was used of a soldier who was on watch. And the idea was stay alert, pay attention to what's going on around you. So the idea of being watchful was to pay attention to circumstances around you. The next one was to stand firm. Again, a term that was used often in the military of the time. It was the idea of determining your standing ground and standing on it. So as a military person, you would pick a position that was defensible and was strong, that you could stand on that piece of ground. It was strategically important, so you knew where to stand and the reason you were standing there. The concept of acting like a man, of course, was the idea of courage or bravery, tackling life with a sense of verve and a sense of strength. Then the next one, be strong, was interesting to me as well. That was used often in the athletics field because it literally talks about building strength. The word is a word that was used for building strength or building muscle mass, as we would call it. And so you train yourself to strength. And so as Christians, we are called upon to train ourselves to strength, to push ourselves forward and become better and stronger at our faith and our direction in life. The last one talks about our being, and I like that particular word. Let all you do be done in love. And the Greek word that is used there is an interesting word. It's a word that's often used for birth. It's used in a lot of different ways, but the idea is not just what you are doing, but it's who you are, your entire being, what you are. And it says in all of your life, this whole idea of being watchful and being brave and standing firm and being strong or building on your strength, it needs to be done in a character of love, a character of self-sacrifice. And we desperately need that in our culture. It's true of manhood, but it's also true of the way in which we live. In 1970, they came out with a new product. Colgate-Palmolive came out with a new product called Irish Spring. It was a soap that had 2 deodorant scents in it, and as you washed with it, it released both of those deodorant scents. And they began with their first, if you will, blurb or statement of what the soap was about was manly. It was a manly scent. It was a scent that you, as a man, wanted to use, and so that was the idea. And then part of their commercial was a young woman would come into the commercial and say, "I manly, but I like it too." And I thought about that in relationship to these principles that Paul lays down in 1 Corinthians, that they are the aroma of having strength of character in our living. But also it's not just for men, it's for women as well. It's the idea that we live our Christian lives with a sense of adventure and courage, and that's why I'm wearing my adventure shirt today. It's a sense of adventure and courage, a sense of standing our ground in the midst of difficult circumstances. And that's what it means to be a Christian. Paul calls us to that. I hope you are enjoying this Father's Day. And as a man, I hope you're appreciating the qualities of manliness. And if you're a woman, I hope you're also appreciating the character of courage and faith and standing firm because all of us as Christians need those characteristics. You have a wonderful day. Hope to see you in church. Take care of yourself. God bless.